Hello, everyone, and welcome into today's action-packed episode. So this is the third part of the three-part series, and this is the sterling silver and a few of the Victorian pieces that I bought out of the 50-plus year jewelry collection. Wait to see some of these pieces, but before I begin, I always want to show you some of the pieces that I wear and enjoy on a daily basis. This is one of my favorite Austro-Hungarian necklaces. This is all sterling silver, natural emerald, natural pearl, ruby, and beautiful sapphires. And this is a big one, and it's all complete. So if you wanted to see this in another video, please go over to my past videos and take a quick look. Look, even this little tiny pearl that likes to be finicky, that doesn't like to lay down right. Look, it's still there. Can you imagine that that has survived all those years? This is circa dating 1880, 1890, definitely Austro-Hungarian. Beautiful pearls up the chain as well. So if you want to see such pieces, please go over to my past videos and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Please, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, a ring that came in from the flea market the other day. This Pulls of Light and sterling silver, beautiful vintage ring. So please stay tuned for a future video on that beauty. That's definitely coming to a video very, very soon. And if you've missed the first two parts of this three-part series, the first part was on costume jewelry. And this necklace is all poured glass. Circa dating on such a piece would be around late 1950 into the 1960s. And this is in fact technically called poured glass. It is in gold-plated brass and has rhinestones. It's signed on the clasp Hattie Carnegie. Now you might think, oh, I don't really care about costume jewelry. You most certainly should, and the reason for that is the price on such a piece is through the roof. A very similar version sold for between $1,200 and $1,500 just recently. I didn't see what the auction closed at, but it was already at $1,200, and I was told it did close for $1,500. That's an awful lot of money for just glass rhinestone and gold-plated metal. So be sure to always check out costume jewelry in my videos. And one of the most beautiful 14-karat white gold Edwardian filigree brooch. It's an amazing pin, and this was in the gold video just a few videos ago. It feels like yesterday that I just recorded it. This is 14 karat white gold, and that is in a previous video. Again, please reach for gold. It's going through the roof. A few more pieces before I get into the choice pieces. In the collection, there's over 411 pieces of sterling silver. The collection is like something I've never seen before, even though I've seen collections much, much larger than that. But the quality is off the charts. And look at this one. Moonstone, made in Finland, very, very modernist. Look at those beautiful moonstones. And I've shown this bracelet before in a video, but I've said I bought this collection in 6 different sessions with the family. And they were thinking of selling the collection separate, but I was very lucky and I bought the collection in its entirety over time. And I'm so glad to get this collection back together. I will be selling quite a few of the pieces. If you're wondering where I sell on eBay, and I also sell on Bully Run Coffee right here on YouTube on Tuesday nights. So go over to Bully Run, that is BULLYRUN, one word, and the word coffee, COFFEE. Please subscribe to that channel. That is Jeremy, my partner's coffee channel, and that's where we do our selling. I use this channel as an educational and information-based channel on the history of jewelry and silversmithing and design and gemstones and you name it, different time periods. And then we sell over on Jeremy's channel. These are bullet-shaped moonstones, and they're wonderful in their iridescence, that blue kind of luster that goes through those very deep dome cabochons. And look at the way that opens. As I struggle to get it open, look at the way that opens. And it is signed down in here, Finland and sterling silver. Just an incredible sterling silver modernist bracelet. And look at that design element that they used that arc as part of the design element. I absolutely love that bracelet. Let's get into one more piece that is just outside of the light box. This is one of the Victorian chains that is in the collection. This is authentically Victorian. 1865 to 1875. It is solid sterling silver. This clasp here has been replaced. So normally what would happen is you would have a locket that would be attached to this C-ring down here. This is slightly newer than Victorian, so that had been replaced, but there would have been a locket that would have dropped off of this, and then that is where it would clasp in the front of the neck. This is absolutely genuine Victorian. It would be from Birmingham, England. Wonderful construction, and look how bold and dramatic that is for an antique Victorian chain. Very difficult to find. This is not a revival piece. This is authentically antique Victorian. I have dealt in Victorian jewelry for 32 years. It's been a labor of love that I've always been so drawn to the Victorian time period. And look at the rich oxidation on that sterling silver chain. Wonderful construction, in perfect condition. Such chains like this are now going easily above $400. I just had one sell locally for $700, and I sold one on eBay for, I think it was $800. So these do sell incredibly well, and they're very important, and they're getting harder and harder to find. Let's get into these before I get into one more thing that's off camera. This is another piece of the Victorian jewelry. I am going to devote an entire different video to the Victorian jewelry portion of the collection. It's simply too complex and too large to cram into the silver category. So check that out for a Victorian brooch. 1870 to 1880 with these two beautiful deers. Look at the detail of that. We'll get into material. We'll get into the different materials such as vulcanite, gutta percha, bog oak. We will get into all of those materials in that Victorian video when we do the deep dive. So please come on over to that video. It'll be coming out very, very soon. At least it'll be recorded very, very soon, and hopefully it comes out very soon. I've been stockpiling my videos, what can I say? Sterling silver turquoise in these little moccasins. This is Navajo, circa dating on this, 1930, 1940. Again, I was distracted. If you saw what was outside of my light box right now for an old piece, you would say, can you please bring it on? I've been staring at it for the last 3 minutes. So let me tell you, I have always loved Native American jewelry. I've always absolutely just completely adored it. And this is without exception. This is a great version. Turquoise, sterling silver, the little moccasins, Navajo. I would say because it's so whimsical and slightly unusual, I would say around $95 to $120 on this. And the value of these has been going up. I love them very much. I want to return that. Hold on. I'm going to go grab that deer brooch and put it right back where it was. Give me 1 second. So when I had that slip up on saying that this was from the 1800s, the reason why is because this necklace, I was staring at it. I should not have such pieces out on my desk. I should put them away. This is coming to a future video, so please stay tuned. It's solid gold, and it's quartz crystal, and it's just magnificent. So please stay tuned for that, and I guess I could show you. It's got a compartment on the back of it. It's got the compartment for woven hair on the back of it, and yeah, it was I gotta sit it right back where it was. I was staring at that. So I should always have those things put away and not get distracted in my videos. So this is a shell, and this is definitely Native American made. And it's pronounced in two different ways, depending on where you put the syllable. It's either operculum or operculum. A lot of people say operculum. I've heard it called opera column as well. So let's just say operculum, for the sake of argument. This is a gorgeous sterling silver leaf, and look at the way that's constructed. That is the cap of a bivalve, like a shell, and that's the cap that protects the I think it's a mollusk, technically, but those that study that would know better than I, but that's the little cover that goes over the flap to keep that safe. Anyways, I have collected that for a very long time, and that's a large one. Absolutely great color, green, that rust into the white. Very cool, very sought after, super awesome. 2 of the Mexican pieces. Now you'll have to remember, there are... I think right now there's 81 Mexican sterling pieces. There's Margot de TAXCO, there's Los Castillos, there's Carmen Beckman, there's Frederick Davis. Let me think here. To Antonio Pineda. So you'll want to stay tuned as I process the collection. This one is great. And this one is by, I think this one's by Beckman. Carmen Beckman, and I've dealt in costume and Mexican silver and bakelite and gold for the last 3 decades. I never left any of this out, so you have to remember I always loved Mexican silver. Carved amethyst, absolutely love it. When I was on Ruby Lane, and this is many, many years ago, I sold a William Spratling necklace, and someone said, "Oh, that's a record price for that necklace." I said, "Is it really?" And it sold for let me think here, $5,785. And I bought it for $22.50. What an increase, But I knew what it was when I saw it, and I knew it was early William Spratling. And sure enough, it had the early hallmark on it. And the antique dealer didn't know the mark. They just thought it was Mexican silver and priced it accordingly. So I was so delighted with that sale. And Jeremy brought that up the other day. He said, "Do you remember when you bought that William Spratling necklace and made thousands and thousands?" And I said, "I do remember that." There's so many of those victories that I don't quantify them. I don't feel like I have to. I don't feel like I have to do the thumbnails on YouTube pointing at a mansion with my mouth open looking surprised to get someone to click into these videos. So thanks for joining in today. I really do greatly appreciate it. Sterling silver construction, wonderful carved amethyst, and look at the good version and the better version. It's so large, and look at it in the hand. I would say circa dating on both of these, late 1940s, give or take, and maybe into the early part of the 50s. But this one's just marked Mexico sterling. Really beautiful. Let me double check and see here. I'm sorry, Mexico silver. Why did I say sterling? Mexico silver. There we go. That's a very early mark. Very sizable brooch. I loved the 3 flower design. Incredible. I would say value on that one, because of the size and the quality of the work, I would say $265 to $295. That's as close as I'm going to get on that. One of my favorites is this one, so we might as well just go right to it, because otherwise I'd be waiting till the end. Ignore the chain, because that's not the right chain for it, but this is an Arts and Crafts original pendant. This is a blister pearl and 2 Mississippi River pearls. And look at the sterling silver work. This is Arts and Crafts original, so this piece is completely hand constructed. When I say Arts and Crafts, all of the leaves are completely hand fabricated. All the tendrils and wires are hand fabricated. This is all soldered together as a labor of love. Nothing is cast on this piece. It's all fabricated, just like what I do in my silver work. Same thing. And this is Arts and Crafts original, circa, dating on this one, 1900 to 1915, definitely before 1915. Very naturalistic in its approach, almost looking back at Art Nouveau. Almost, but not quite. Definitely distilled down and stylized in that Arts and Crafts flair, but any advanced collector or jewelry historian would say that is definitively Arts and Crafts. Because I love it, it's very hard to evaluate. I would see this out at a retail show between $350 and $450. I think you could potentially ask a little bit more, in the neighborhood of maybe $525 to $585. The chain is new, but boy, oh boy, if you got that on a period chain, you'd be in the driver's seat for price all day long. If this was signed, if it was Gaskin, if it was Kalo, there's so many different makers. And if it was one of those, it would elevate the value by quite a bit. Josephine Hartwell Shaw was also another prolific maker, and it sure does look like the work that she produced. And you might say to yourself, how do you know all these different makers? Because I stayed in books. I kept my head down and kept doing research over the last, 30 years of my life. I live, breathe, and eat this business. Look at this for carnelian. Definitely Chinese in construction. Sterling silver with gold vermeil. But look how every bezel is completely hand constructed. Absolutely gorgeous fur clip. Love the gradient. That kind of the difference in those orange, yellow, and kind of that translucent colored. Just amazing gemstones. Carnelian, that could be in the onyx family as well. Oh, I just love this. I love the feel of that. I would say on that one, since it's a clip, a little more difficult to wear, but I would say 95 to 135. And do you want to know a little secret? Let me go get a safety pin. I'll be right back and show you how to convert these to a brooch. Okay, so everyone follow me here. Get your shirt, your cotton shirt. This is a Crown Royal bag, but get your cotton shirt. Get a safety pin. Okay, be careful. Put your hand behind your shirt. Put your safety pin in, right? And then this is on the reverse of your shirt. Then go through the fabric. Close the safety pin. Are you ready? Are you ready for the presto changeo? Flip your shirt inside out. Okay, look at that. It's not only a dirty Crown Royal bag, but you have a bar here, right? Check this out. To convert a dress clip to something wearable today, open up the clip. Here we go. Pass it through here. Close your clip down, and look, you have a wearable brooch. You just converted your dress clip to a wearable brooch. I need to do a YouTube short on that right after I'm done with this video. So I'm going to leave that outside my light box so that I can do a little tutorial. How does that sound? Pretty fancy, huh? I learned that from an old-time Bakelite collector, Sally Loeb, and she was in Highland Park by Chicago, and I went to go visit her and bought a portion of her Bakelite collection, and she showed me how to convert my Bakelite dress clips to pins. So I have to give a special shout out to Sally. Thank you so much for teaching me that little trick. You're a gem and a dear, dear friend, and I just love you. So thank you, Sally. This is sterling silver butterfly wing. Amazing, amazing, amazing butterfly wing underneath crystal. And guess what? I know that there was another one in the collection, and then I found a third one. But look, I had to stash one in this box as well. Look. There's another butterfly wing brooch. It fit in there perfect, though. These are usually made in England, so you will find them with their English hallmark on the back. And I don't know. I just have always loved that sterling silver and the simplicity of that electric blue blue morpho butterfly wing. Absolutely love it. And the box is sterling silver Navajo. I would circuit date this one because of the way the hinge construction is done at the back. I would circuit date that to right after 1900, maybe 1910, 1920. Seems to be definitively before 1930. And I've always loved these boxes. In my collection, I'm down to 9 Navajo boxes, but these are very, very sought after. And look at that strong oxidation on the surface. Love Native American boxes. So that's probably a keep for my collection. This is incredible. I have shown one very similar to this in some of my videos. This is just fantastic. It is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that for sterling silver. It's a sash pin. Look at the pin stem, how heavy that is. That's definitely a sash pin. A lot of people would date that to the Victorian time periods. I would not disagree with that and say this is circa dating 1890 to 1900, maybe 1915. But this is in the heart of the Art Nouveau movement. Look at those beautiful flowers. Small little chip to the enamel here, to be expected and totally forgiven. Look at the whiplash lines and how large that is for sterling silver. Absolutely love that. We'll get into the enameling techniques in a future video. I just don't have the time to do it right now. And I want to take the deep dive. I don't want to stay on the surface. I think this is Margot de TAXCO. Let's take a quick peek here. Look at that construction. I think this is Margot. Yep, there we go. Margot de TAXCO. So, Margot Van Voorhees, absolutely amazing Mexican female silversmith. Very, very strong and well known for her bold enameling. Look at the quality of this enamel in that bright turquoise blue, that little hint of polka dot engraving underneath the surface. A lot of people would call that boss tie enamel. I probably wouldn't disagree. So we'll get into the techniques again eventually. But that's what I was trained at the university. So I did all of those techniques and I used all of those techniques in my work. And then 3 more pieces, a beautiful, absolutely beautiful chrysanthemum ring. This is from China. It would date around 1900 to 1915, definitely before the 20s, absolutely. And that is coral that's inset in there. And look at that hand-chased chrysanthemum. So that's all repoussé silver. This isn't cast. It's made out of 2 sheets of silver. And then they're soldered together after that is repoussé and chased in that chrysanthemum pattern. That is not cast. So that is actually hollow. That is actually hollow in between the 2 layers. So it's 1 layer as the flower, 1 layer as the backing, and then that simple bypass. But isn't that a stunner? I absolutely love the oxidation on that. Value on this has climbed over the years. Years ago at antique shows, I would see these all the time for $45, $55, and $65, and they weren't selling. Now they sell out every time I see them. The last one I saw was $175, and it actually sold for $175. So I would say definitely in the vicinity of $150 to $175. This is great. This is Navajo. It is absolutely Native American made. Look at that border and check out that banded agate stone. Wonderful, absolutely gorgeous sterling silver mounting. And again, I wouldn't polish this for the world. And look at the glow of that stone because they polished the sterling underneath that cabochon. Absolutely exquisite, I would say, because of the size of that and the quality of the stone. Again, $225 to $265 all day long, every day of the week. And this sterling silver feather, absolutely well made. Look how chunky and robust this ring is. Not sure on the designer just yet. It is signed down in here. I just the whole feel of this, how wonderful and thick and robust this is. This is actually cast and then sanded down and finished on the inside. This could be Cuttlebone cast or Lost Wax cast, one or the other. And I loved that robust feather design. I guess I should ask you, now that I went through everything in the light box, what was your favorite piece today and why? And would you wear these pieces? Would you buy them to sell them? What would you do with such works of art? Would you cherish them and pass them down to family members? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I wanted to show you just a sampling of the sterling silver thimbles that were in this collection. There's so much money in sterling silver thimbles. I did sell one years ago for $350. This one's got that really interesting banding on the outside of it. Gotta check that for 14 karat gold. And look at this one with that genuine amethyst in the top of it. A lot of times those are glass, but that's genuine amethyst. And look how it's broken over the years of being used. Please, when you get your thimbles, either use them outside, like take them outside when you buy them, or if you're buying them, slip outside and hold them up to the sky. not towards the sun because you don't want to hurt your eyes, but hold them up to the sky and see if there are holes in them. If there are holes in them, do not buy them because people frown on that. Yes, they were meant to be used and sometimes have holes in them. You'll be amazed sometimes at how many holes you will see in the thimbles. So just either do that or put them up to a bright light. Like get your pen light, put them up to a bright light, and just look from the side angle and see if there's any holes inside of them. I checked all of these and I didn't find any holes or any damage in any of those thimbles. And I'll tell you, some of the borders are just magnificent. I think most of these would sell in the range between, again, on the lowest end, $25, on the higher end for some of them, the more complex versions, $55, $65, and $75, depending on the maker and the quality and the border on those. So I wanted to show you those as well. And then just two more pieces, and I'm going to let you go for the day. This was very easy, wasn't it? I am not sure what this stone is. It is listed. Let me see where the bag went. They did not know either. Like I asked the family and they were not sure. Where did that little bag go? It's listed as 24.39 carats, measuring a 16.9 by a 16.4 millimeter, and it's listed as a 24.39 carat. Why I'm concerned about this is it sure looks like it's green tourmaline. If it is, it's one of the finest green tourmalines I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of them over the years at the international gem shows. It's one of the finest and one of the largest. It's either that or synthetic, so you're going to have to stay tuned and see what this comes back as through gemological testing. It is, again, 24.39 carats. Why would they list the 0.39 if it was just a crystal or a piece of glass or a synthetic? I have a very strong feeling that this, in fact, is genuine green tourmaline. So please stay tuned for a future video on that gigantic dazzler. Incredible color saturation. And I don't see any color zoning or any inclusions. So that's why it makes me think that it's a synthetic. But don't always assume that. And look at this one. Oh, I got to bring this one back as well. So faceted, rose quartz, very translucent. This one was, again, was certified. Look at the color play inside of that stone and check out the faceting. How absolutely remarkable, and that kind of milky pink appearance. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely great. So if you want to see some more gemstone videos, please leave in the comment section below and cheer me on to victory, and I'll be sure to include some more gemstone videos. I think that does it for today. I'm looking at my desk and I'm seeing another about 42 pieces that I wanted to cram into this video, and I'm just not going to do it today. That concludes this video. I just want to say thanks so much for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you going over to Jeremy's channel and subscribing there as well. Thank you so much for sending love to my mother Mary, my mother-in-law Becky, and I just really want to say again how much I appreciate all of your time and your attention. You have no idea how this makes me feel, but it makes me feel great. I love you because I do.